and his name is Raymond Joseph, ladies and gentlemen. Come on down, Raymond.
Let's keep it going for Brian, you guys. Heck yeah. Thank you for coming out. It's good to be here. I wore this button-down shirt. Pretty impressive, right? Yeah, buttons are tough when you got a thumb that looks like a 1-inch chunk of ginger root, you know? What I have is a birth defect called Apert syndrome. I'm a pretty normal guy, you know, aside from the lazy eye, crooked nose, nub fingers, and webbed toes. And yes, I can swim fast. Let's get that out of the way. You know, my dad had the syndrome too, and the doctors told him before he had kids that he had a 50% chance of passing the syndrome down. I think it had to have been more than a 50% chance, because when you think about it, you know, webbed toes. You guys, my sperm was swimming laps around those normal toad sperm. It's a genetic birth defect. My dad had it. He passed it down to my sister and I, so it was the three of us and our one normally formed mother. Yeah, as you can imagine, her self-confidence was through the roof. Just flaunting her dexterity in front of her three cripples, you know, always opening up pickle jars and eating with chopsticks. No, of course my mom wasn't arrogant about being the only normal person in the family. If anything, she was ostracized for it, you know? We ganged up on her, made her feel like a second-class citizen. Just drive us around, do our laundry, open my fruit snacks. Fruit snacks were tough, man. I don't know. Having Aperts is a bummer, but it does make the holidays a lot of fun. You guys, all summer I get to tell folks that I blew off my fingertips over the 4th of July. I don't know. Thanksgiving's a fun one. Thanksgiving gives me flashbacks of elementary school and my goofy-looking hand turkeys. You remember the hand turkeys? You trace your hand, had eyes and a beak, maybe a little dick and balls. Yeah, dude. My hand turkeys always look like if a normal hand turkey flew into a window, you know? I think Halloween's my favorite holiday. My best Halloween was when I was 10 years old. I had a cranial facial surgery. My head was all swollen and wrapped in bandages. I was in the hospital for 3 weeks, but I started to heal and they discharged me on Halloween. They were going to take the bandages off. I was like, you guys, can we keep the bandages on for one more night? Like to wear them trick-or-treating, you know? They're like, yeah, that's cool. So I wore the bandages trick-or-treating. You guys, I got so much candy that year. People were like, what are you supposed to be? I was like, recovering. School was a little bit different for me. I took classes with all the other kids, but about once a month I'd go see a counselor. They'd make sure I was adapting all right, didn't have any learning disabilities. It wasn't until about junior high when I had a conference with my mom, the teacher, and the principal. They said, Ray, you're adapting just fine, if not better than most of the other kids in school. We've concluded that you no longer need special educational services. To which I responded, I'm in special ed? Because I had never heard it labeled that way before. You know, I always viewed it as some sort of counseling. Like, how dumb do you gotta be to not realize you were in special ed until you graduated from it? I guess I exceeded their expectations, you know? Which, exceeding expectations is something I do a lot, you know? It doesn't take much. As long as I'm washed and use basic motor skills, people will be like, whoa, look at him go, you know? I do hope my material doesn't offend anybody with Apert syndrome or other physical differences. You know, comedy has been a way for me to connect with people and find happiness, but I know that's not the case for everybody. So if you see anybody who looks like me, please don't go up to them and ask to see their ginger root thumbs, okay? Is that fair? Like, because I worked in customer service for a long time. People can be pretty blunt, man. They'd come right up to me and be like, whoa, what happened to you? Looks like you were in a fire, you know, did you get electrocuted? Sometimes I'd mess with them. I'd be like, yeah, but it was worth it to save those puppies, you know. I am a hero. No, all things considered, I got a pretty good life. Good family, good friends. I get to travel on occasion. I happened to be in Hawaii on my 30th birthday. That was awesome, yeah. I was mostly excited about taking a surf lesson. I'm a big snowboarder. I had never surfed before, so I was pretty stoked when we got to the shop. But apparently the company was hosting a family in need that day because they looked at us and they looked at me and they go, oh, you must be the Make-A-Wish family. Welcome. No, we're not the Make-A-Wish family. We're the Joseph family. Got a reservation for 2 o'clock. We'd like that for free now, please. People are typically nice to me, especially when they have time to prepare, like when we're walking towards each other down the street or in a grocery store. But you know when you don't have time to prepare for me is when I'm coming out of a bathroom and you're coming into that bathroom at the same time. Happened the other day. I was pushing on the door. The other guy was pulling on the door. I kind of stumbled into him. He just goes, "Oh, Jesus." Which, might be a normal response, but I think the difference for me was his over-apologeticness afterwards. He was like, "Hey, sorry, dude. Like, I was startled because you fell into me, not because you look like that." I killed that guy. Yeah. Took him into the woods. I didn't even worry about burying the body. Because let's say somebody finds it. They look for fingerprints. They find my sorry excuse. Like, a damn raccoon got him. In other news, I was telling my buddy I was thinking about getting a handicap placard for my car. I told him I felt self-conscious, though, because people might not think I'm handicapped enough. And Greg just goes, "I don't think you'll need to worry about that." It's like, well, screw you, Greg. I look pretty good when I'm wearing sunglasses and my hands are in my pockets, That's why I like snowboarding so much, because when I'm snowboarding, I am covered up, head to toe. Helmet, goggles, gloves, boots. No one can see any of my deformities. And it's important to know that my feet are messed up, too, because one time I broke my leg snowboarding. Ski Patrol responded. They took me down to the clinic. I was laying on this stretcher surrounded by 6 patrollers, still covered up. One of them took my boot off, and they slowly started to peel off my sock. And as soon as they could see my foot, I went, "Holy shit, what happened?" That was pretty good, wasn't it? We got any married people in the house? Make some noise. Right on, man. That's kind of lackluster, I guess. Been married for a while, I guess. No, I got married on September 21st, 2019. Earth, Wind, and Fire has a song about that date. It goes, "Do you remember the 21st night of September?" Whenever that song comes on, my wife and I, we look at each other and smile. I got divorced on March 1st, 2024. Now that song just reminds me of a promise I couldn't keep. I started a new tradition this September. On the 21st, I get hammered drunk. That way I do not remember. Okay. I'm dating again. I'm on the apps. I've been flirting with women on Hinge recently. Well, let me rephrase that. I've been sending unread messages to women on Hinge recently. This one woman was looking for cheesy pickup lines. I said, "Hey, I lost some of my digits. Can I have yours?" To her credit, she did send back 1 digit. It was just the middle one, This other woman said she'd like to play bingo. I said, "Hey, if you got a B, an N, a G, and an O, I can show you some lazy eyes." I don't know. I'm looking for a woman who doesn't drink a ton, but it'd be great if she liked White Claws, Because I got those. Okay. Let's see. I think it's important to let you guys know that I'm happy. Okay, I think that's. I've been telling people this lately, and they are confused. They're like, "You happy? How?" And it's like, yeah, I might be more bummed out if I was comparing myself to you people, but I'm not. I am comparing myself to the rest of the people in the world with Apert syndrome. There's like 12 of us, right? So it's not crazy to think I am the most attractive person in Hopkins, with Apert syndrome. You put that little asterisk on it, it's hard not to be positive, man. And that's just it. They say comparison is the thief of joy. I think that's true if you're comparing yourself to folks who have it a little bit better than you, following people on social media who go on fancy trips and have nice things. It's like, why not follow someone who's got it a little bit worse than you? Like me. Follow me at Raymond J Comedy. I promise you'll feel great, I'm going to do one more and get out of here. Thank you for coming out. And hey, come say hi after the show. I got these hand turkeys to give out. If you want one of those, pretty good, yes. You can have that one if you like. Let's see, I like Starbucks. They're convenient. I like to swing by the drive-thru on my way to work. But every day I freak out a barista at Starbucks because they go to hand me my drink and I stick my White Claw out the window. And they panic, man. They don't think I'm going to be able to hold the drink. I'm like, hey, just rest it on my pinky, roll it back into my palm. We'll get through this together, you know? They eventually give me my drink, but when they do, they make the same face an adult makes when they're about to let a toddler walk for the first time. It's kind of like, okay, here you go. Yeah. Then another adult who's seen me before has got to be like, no, he can do it, watch. You guys, thank you for watching me. My name is Raymond Joseph. Have a good rest of your night. All right.
Good job, my man. Raymond Joseph, ladies and gentlemen. Raymond Joseph.